Nutrition labels. Let's learn how to properly read nutrition labels to look for hidden sugars. First of all, a lot of the products that you may have in your pantry or whenever you're starting to look at labels at the store, there are a lot of ways that sugar can hide, and it's really hard unless you know exactly what you're looking for. There can be up to 50 different ways to list sugar in ingredients, and a lot of big companies will use those overly processed sugars to fill up their food to make it taste better, and that's not what we're looking for. We are looking for whole, nutrient-dense foods. So here in a few minutes, I'm going to take a couple of my products and I'm going to show you the back of the labels, and we're going to compare like some barbecue sauces, some mustards, and some different items. So the more highly refined a sweetener is, or the more processed it is, the worse it is for your body. And that just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So first of all, let's look at high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners. Both of these are modern factory-made products. They're overprocessed and they are just not good for you. They can lead to inflammation, it can lead to blemishes, it can lead to brain fogginess. There's just multiple ways that these two products can affect our bodies. So make sure when you read your food labels that you are looking for artificial sweeteners and for high fructose corn syrup. Natural sweeteners. Let's talk about some of the natural sweeteners that are recommended in small amounts. They do have some trace minerals and some trace nutrients that can be beneficial to your body. So I'm talking about, with natural sweeteners, things such as cane sugar, coconut nectar, turbinado sugar, honey, molasses. Items like that are not bad for you in small amounts. You just don't want to overdo it. And honey is probably the most highly recommended sugar out there because it is the least processed, if not processed at all, especially if you can find a honeybee farm near you. Okay, when I'm talking about sugars that aren't good for you, I'm not talking about natural sugars in foods, such as in full-fat dairy. You'll find lactose, which is in milk or yogurt. You'll see that, and that's just a natural occurring sugar, and that is not bad for you. And I'm also not talking about the natural occurring sugars in fruits or in some of the vegetables, like in your tubers and your root vegetables. I'm talking about additive sugars that just are not good for your body. All right, next, let's look at some ingredient labels and see if we can find some where sugar hides. Okay, so let's look at this first label. It's from a nut butter. And if you go down here, you're going to see that it has a total of 3 grams of sugar. It also has 2 grams of included or added sugars. That's what we're looking for. So we need to go over here and actually read the ingredients to see what those 2 sugars are. And right here it says just sugar, which would be white processed sugar. It also says a little bit of molasses, but we're mostly looking at the fact that the 2 grams of included sugars come from actual sugar. Comparing the last peanut butter with this peanut butter, and if you look, you'll see that the total sugars of this one is 1 gram, but there are 0 grams included or added sugars in this peanut butter. But now, because it says that, we still need to go over here and check our label. Just look at the ingredients to see what's in it. And I see roasted peanuts and a little bit of salt. So this is a very good label. This is a great peanut butter to use because there are no added or included sugars. Let's check out this mustard label. If we're going down through here to look, we're going to see that it says not a significant source of total sugars, added sugars. Now, just because it says that doesn't mean that there's not any included sugars. If you go up here, you'll see that it says fair trade organic cane sugar. So just because a product doesn't have sugars listed doesn't mean it still doesn't have added sugar. So that's why you really have to read your labels. Comparing the previous mustard to this mustard. And if you look, it says not a significant source again of sugar, added sugars. But if you go down to the ingredients, I don't see where it says any added sugars at all. So this is definitely a good choice if you're looking for no added sugars in a mustard. Now let's check out this barbecue sauce. First of all, when we go to the sugars, we see that there's 16 grams of sugar total. But let's see where those 16 grams are coming from. The first ingredient, which means that's what this is mainly made up of, is high fructose corn syrup. You also will see that there is a little bit of pineapple juice concentrate. On down here, you'll see actual sugar, corn syrup, and molasses. So these 16 grams come from highly processed and refined sugars. We're comparing this barbecue sauce to the previous barbecue sauce. Let's check out the nutrient facts first. And what we see is total sugars of 2 grams, which is fine, those are naturally occurring, included 0 grams of added sugars. This is what we want to see. However, we still need to go up and check in the ingredients and make sure there's no hidden sugars. And it looks like the list is very clean. Now up here, they also specify that there's no added sugar, no high fructose corn syrup, honey, or agave. So this is the type of label you want to look for if you're trying to find hidden sugars in products. So let's talk about canned vegetables. This can of sweet potato is probably going to have some sugars in it, and those are naturally occurring sugars such as carrots, peas, any of your squashes, potatoes. They all have naturally occurring sugars. But let's check out the ingredients. Looking at the nutrition facts, you'll see that there are a total sugars of 7 grams, but it includes 0 added sugars. Now let's go on down and make sure we check out those ingredients. Oh, and it's just organic sweet potato. So this is another good label. This is another great way to look for items that do not have those added sugars. Another place that you will find a lot of hidden sugars is in lunch meat. So let's look at this label. Total sugar 0, included is 0. Let's also make sure we read the ingredients. Just turkey, sodium, sea salt, starch. Absolutely, this is a clean ingredient list. So just remember, you can also find hidden sugar in lunch meat. Okay, the very last product that we're going to talk about today is bacon. And this includes sausages, it includes like salamis, and any of your cured meats. So in this label, you're going to see that there are 0 total sugars and there's 0 added sugars also. But when you go over here to the ingredient list, you'll also see that it says cane sugar. Cane sugar is generally used in the processing of meats, and during the curing, it's burnt off. So we're not worried about in the ingredients whenever it actually lists a sugar in bacon or processed meats, because as long as you're over here and you're looking at that it says 0 included or added sugars, then it's perfectly fine. All right, in conclusion, I hope that you are able to understand a little bit better of where sugar can hide. So as long as you're reading those nutrition facts and those ingredients, you should be well on your way to looking for hidden sugars in foods.